I have a really tough time believing the EPA when they say the air quality is fine. I live in a place where it's fire season every single year. And that, frankly, even though I live also near what we call Upgrader Alley here in Alberta, that's the only time our air quality is poor is during fire season, because we acknowledge the fact that burning a bunch of stuff does bad things to the air quality. And so they did a very large burn of chemicals in this place. It can't happen without some sort of ramifications. Olivia informs me that we have the clip of the people being critical of the media and how they're treated.
This could have happened to thousands of little communities just like ours. We are not a poor, unclassy community. We are a community that a disaster happened to, that we didn't know how to respond to it, and we're just trying to figure it out. So when you're reporting, please do not report that we're some poor community that, woes us. We just want payouts. That's not what we're trying to figure out. We just want answers.
Good for her. She's exactly right. They're being portrayed in the media that they're this poor backwards community. They don't understand science, and that they're just looking for payouts. They're looking to get wealthy now. And good for her to call out in the kindest of ways the mainstream media right to their faces.
And I also think, Sheila, we might have a video clip of the East Palestine fire chief addressing the crowd. Didn't go well.
No.
The big question has been why the 1 mile radius? Okay, there we go. Based on previous incidents. So that is why we went with the 1 mile radius evacuation zone, based on that data that we use provided to us.
Where's the company that...
Hold on. This was a two-part question. So let's get the second part. Is everybody satisfied with my answer? Listen, I think that's what we have to go by. That's what we have to go by.
Hey, we're civil, or we're dissolving your own. This is how they want it to go. I listen to them. Now we change for everybody to answer.
So I don't know if you heard that clearly, but he told the crowd, because the rail company is not there to face the music, it was put on him to do it. And he said that they are offering compensation of $1,000. That's it, to people who were within a 1 mile radius of the evacuation zone of the controlled explosion. So anybody outside of that, so if you're like 1 mile and 0.2, then you don't get anything. If your groundwater is poisoned, because your well is 2 miles from the blast zone, you get nothing.
This is outrageous, Sheila. Toxic fumes know no boundaries. They don't get to the 1 mile containment zone and, we can't go any further. The people on the other side of this boundary aren't entitled to $1,000 in compensation. As I mentioned, the experts in Virginia are worried about groundwater contamination. I think Virginia might be beyond the 1 mile
Pennsylvania, same thing.
Of East Palestine. So
Pennsylvania is saying the same thing, David. And again, maybe a controlled burn was the best of a bad situation. Maybe it was. I don't know. Maybe it was the very best way to do this. But even still, even if it was the best way, you still harmed these people. Even if, it was better than just leaving the chemicals to dissipate into the ground, or maybe you couldn't neutralize them. You didn't have the right chemicals to neutralize them. You didn't have booms accessible to contain it, whatever. If a controlled burn was the best way, it doesn't mean you didn't harm these people.
Yeah, well, you know what? My hearts go out to these people, Sheila. They look like such nice,
Normal.
typical middle America citizens.
They could be my town. It could be my town. I look at this, and we have train derailment season here where I live. And the trains are coming in and out of the refinery all the time, or the upgrader, I should say, because they're bringing condensate in and out. And then they're also, it's nothing but trains here because they're hauling fertilizer, they're hauling, oil and gas components, grain. And, we get ground heaves because it can swing like 70 degrees temperature over the course of a season, right? So, or the course of a year. So we get ground heaves and the trains do derail. But this could be my town, literally could be my community. This looks like downtown Fort Saskatchewan, or downtown Lamont, Alberta, or downtown Bruderheim. Yep. And this could happen to us. And these people just get to walk away from it all, give you $1,000 and then walk away, not even show up. Give me a break.
Yeah, it's appalling. Sheila, I should tell our audience that if you want to see our coverage,
yes,
all the reports, and I believe there's 3 more still to come.
More.
They're still in the hopper getting edited. Please go to ohioexplosion.com. That's ohioexplosion.com. And if you're able to contribute to our expenses, we travel very modestly. We had Lincoln and Efren go down there by car. And if you can chip in $1 or $3, because unlike Justin Trudeau's train seals, we're not taking a direct deposit out of your bank accounts every 2 weeks. Kind of like, remember from, I think it was 1995 or 94, Sheila, Rogers negative option billing. We're going to sell you a bunch of channels you don't want and never requested, and it's up to you to opt out. In fact, it's even worse with how the government funds the media in this country, Sheila, because you can't opt out. You can't say, no, give me back my money. I want nothing to do with Global and CTV and CBC and Post Media. No. Shut up. You're paying. Your complaint is noted. Now move on. So again, folks, please go to ohioexplosion.com if you want to see the reports from Efren and Lincoln. And if you can make a donation, that would be greatly appreciated.
Before we move on, I should tell you the value of their work there. So they drove down from Toronto.
Yep.
Moment's notice. They didn't really even know what they were getting into. I was kind of concerned about them. But their work has been featured on Fox News. Their independent journalists jumped in a car, drove down just because you couldn't get the truth from the mainstream media. You can't get the truth from the government, and no one was talking to the people. They were doing a lot of talking about them, but not talking to them. They went down and actually talked to the people firsthand, and their work is being featured on Fox News. So that's the value of just being there to cover the news when nobody else is. This is their work
and
on
Sheila,
Fox News.
That's how to do it. It's, shoe leather journalism, as the saying goes. You get down there, you immerse yourself where the story is happening. You just don't, get your information from some feed on the internet that may or may not be accurate. So good on Lincoln and Efren for making that hike. And if we have to go back there, we surely will. So in the meantime, ohioexplosion.com.
That's a clip from something we call Rebel News Daily. It's our daily live stream hosted by my friend David Menzies, but the show also includes a rotating cast of hosts and special guests, including me. It's a great way for us to talk about the news of the day as the news is happening in an unscripted fashion, and it's an awesome way for you to interact with us as well. We stream every weekday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 11 a.m. Mountain, wherever you find Rebel News. See you there.